gentlemen, we're on episode 3 of the Cruiserweight Classic.
Cow.
And this
has been that long already.
This could potentially be at least a runner-up to Kevin Hawk's favorite episodes of the Cruiserweight Classic, just based on some of the names that we got on this particular episode. So we'll get right into it. We started off with Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tyson Dux.
Two guys who I enjoy.
Both guys you can hear us talking about regularly on our indie news every single week. And right off the bat, I mean, I didn't even know that Tyson Dux had originally had a shot in WWE before, and actually got hurt in a match against Mark Jindrak. Ended up
happened on a SmackDown.
Yeah, ended up hurting his knee. Ended up having to get a different job until he was able to go back to wrestling. And now he's back. He's getting a chance to prove his worth in the Cruiserweight Classic. But he's going against the technical wizard that is Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, it's not an easy mountain to climb.
But, I mean, if you can hang, that's a good way to prove your worth. Going against a guy like Zack Sabre Jr., who, I mean, what a stellar year he had last year, winning Bola and just on top of the freaking world last year.
He's the current PWG champion.
Yeah, so, I mean, these two had fantastic chemistry, technical prowess like you couldn't believe. They worked with each other extremely well.
Yeah.
Morrow and Daniel kept talking about the escapology that Zack Sabre Jr. likes to use.
Yeah, both men were extremely technically sound, but still so different.
Yeah.
Because Zack Sabre Jr. was very flashy.
He had so much finesse.
In the way that he moves, in the way that he counters holds, whereas Tyson implements the fundamentals, but with just a great intensity.
He was a lot more physical than Zack was. He had the Fisherman Buster. He had some massive clotheslines. He was able to not only play the technical game, but the power game as well.
Yeah, and it's like when he threw a headlock takeover, it's like, you see a headlock takeover happen a lot in wrestling, but it's like he threw it like he meant it. Like,
yeah, no, it was a lot more force than you see a lot of the guys throwing around. And so, so Zack had to work a little bit harder to make sure to wear him down, get him down in the right positions, implement the right submissions to really force a win for himself. And he eventually got this standing Kimura on Dux, and then as he turned it in, I can't remember what they kept calling it. There's like a something special where he's like twisting.
The gym break special.
Yeah, he was twisting the forearm, which was nasty, and that actually caused Dux to drop down to one knee, and with that, he was able to turn it into a variation of a omoplata.
Yeah, which is just the leg submission portion of like what Daniel Bryan used, the S-lock.
Yeah. And then with that, he was actually able to grab the arm that Dux was trying to reach the ropes with.
Very much like an inverted arm bar.
Almost in a way, kind of the three-handle moss-covered three-handle credenza. Yeah. He's got the one arm pinned back, and he's got the other one that's stretching back.
It's like that inverted arm bar that Ciampa does.
Oh right, yeah.
When Ciampa flips over the guy and pulls his arm back.
Yeah. And so at this point, and then he takes the fingers and pulls them back, and Dux has to verbally tap out. He cannot actually move a hand to give up. So Zack Sabre Jr. moving on to the second round, but big props to Tyson Dux, really putting up a hell of a fight against Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, and again, like, this was like a chance for him to, maybe try and get back to WWE to where they might want him.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he's already been wrestling for 20 years.
Yeah, no, if anything, I mean, give him a short run, maybe put him on NXT and have him work down in the Performance Center, because he's got a lot to give.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping personally that his performance in this match was enough for them to give him another look.
Yeah. Up next we had Drew Gulak, another favorite of Kevin Hawk, taking on one half of the Bollywood Boys, that being Harv Sihra.
And he taught Harv a lesson in wrestling.
Drew Gulak was in charge of this match 90% of it.
Harv superplexed.
Yeah. Harv got a superplex. He did his cool little crossbody to the outside. That was about it. If they're trying to use him to put over the Bollywood boys, it didn't work out very well.
Well, that's what happens when you have a WWE programming and you bring in somebody that was on Global Force.
Well, we'll see if Gerv has the same issues with no Dar next week.
Oh, I bet he will.
But yeah, no, Drew Gulak, just plain and simple. I've never seen this move happen before, but it was fucking cool to see it. Flying Dragon Sleeper for the win.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, he beat Dasher Hatfield with the same move.
Oh, really?
This past weekend,
Oh,
which
shit.
was in Toronto. That got his third point
got him
towards
third
championship
point.
contention.
Very impressive to see that happen.
The cool thing I liked about this is that earlier in the match, Gulak had a body vice on Harv.
And then Harv put the
Harv and
put the pressure on the ankles.
Yeah, when he's got the body vice, he's got his legs crossed over his waist. And what happens is if somebody has their ankles crossed and you pull back downwards on the foot that's over the top, it puts a lot of pressure on the ankles. So he did that with his legs. He used his legs and was pulling on Gulak's ankles. And when he put the Dragon Sleeper on, he did that again and actually got Gulak to let go for about a third of a second.
Yeah.
And then he actually wrapped his arm back around and pulled himself down with all of his weight.
Yeah.
Which actually stretched him out, very much like when Rusev does that second half of the accolade.
Yeah,
when he pulls
when he cinches back on it. Yeah, so Gulak definitively going to the second round, and he will face Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This is a cool episode, because this episode, both matches set up second round matches. All four matches set up 2 second round matches.
They did indeed. Our third match, probably the weakest out of the 2, and it's probably because there was some sort of...
Four.
Okay. For me, the 2 middle matches were...
Oh, out of the 2 middle matches.
Yeah, the two middle matches, that's what I meant. This one, this is probably the weakest match of the tournament so far.
It
was...
Ho-Ho Loon versus Daivari gave it a run for its money.
This one was just... I don't know.
Let's just say, we were not impressed with Anthony Bennett.
No, he tried at the beginning, but Tony Nese just tried a lot harder.
We learned that aerodynamicy doesn't help.
Yeah.
They call his haircut a high top fade.
Mm-hmm.
He faded away to obscurity after this match.
How many more jokes you got about Anthony Bennett?
I don't know. It's going to take a really, really powerful pair of glasses for me to find his career after this.
Tony Nese he dominated the performance. Tony Nese looked fantastic. There was nothing wrong with what Tony Nese was doing. It seemed like Anthony Bennett couldn't keep up his half of the match.
No, and I mean, there's a reason why, Tony Nese in Evolve, would you have to think of the elite competition that they have in Evolve? I mean, there's a place where Zack Sabre Jr. is a regular, TJ Perkins is a regular,
Drew Gulak,
Drew Galloway,
Johnny Gargano,
Ethan Page,
Tommaso Ciampa,
Timothy Thatcher, Chris Hero, and in Evolve, Tony Nese is considered one of the premier athletes of Evolve.
Hence, Premier Athlete brand.
Yeah, he's in the Premier Athlete brand, or what was the Premier Athlete brand. I don't even know if they're a thing anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But to be in a group called the Premier Athlete brand in a place like Evolve, means you have to be in the top notch.
Yeah.
It was even to a point where Tony Nese was going for one of his moves and it didn't pan out because Anthony Bennett either wasn't sure what was going on or wasn't I think it was actually on 2 different occasions, because there was one where he was holding his leg and he lost balance.
That's what he was trying to
and
set
then
up
there was
for.
one where he went under for the pump handle and he like fell on his face.
Yeah, he eventually got the slide through hook for the pump handle power slam, and yeah, the first time it was Anthony Bennett just, I don't know what it was, but he was rocked for some reason, because after that power slam, Tony Nese went up to the top rope to finish it. The ref actually stopped him to check on Anthony Bennett.
Yeah.
And it was a very bizarre moment in the match where the refs stopped and were like, wait, what's going on? And then all of a sudden it was okay. Tony Nese hits a 450, a beautiful 450 by the way, and picks up the win. And it was just like, what happened? And it was like this was the second time that we've seen the other competitor not able to stand up for the final, like, here's your winner.
Yeah, first one was Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
After his match, because the ref was, or the trainer looked like he was checking him for a concussion, possibly.
Yeah. And so I don't know if Anthony Bennett just hit something wrong, came down wrong on the power slam. Not sure what it was, but yeah.
It wasn't Corey Graves. It was Daniel Bryan, I think, was saying that he came down with one of his arms outstretched funky when he got slammed.
Oh, so he said he might have separated his shoulder or something? Yeah, whatever it was, it didn't... Yeah, he's at the bottom of the list as far as who impressed us in this tournament. But one of the people that's at the top of the list right now, Raul Mendoza.
Yeah, well, decade-long luchador veteran.
Yeah.
You know, the man's got moves, but you know who's got a plan?
The Brian Kendrick.
The Brian Kendrick is the man with
This
the plan.
was one hell of a main event.
Yeah, it was a good choice.
We don't know that much about Raul Mendoza. You know, we were expecting just, kind of basic cruiserweight, but this guy's got fucking so much potential.
Yeah.
It was insane. And talk about the crowd swaying in Mendoza's favor.
Yeah, because the beginning of the match, the crowd, be it that it could have just been the 100% the nostalgia trip of when somebody returns after being gone for so long, but when the match first started, the crowd immediately started chanting for Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, no, it was at least 95% of the crowd cheering for Brian Kendrick. But then, we saw just gradually, more and more, it became half and half. And then Raul Mendoza had it. And then by the end of the match, even when announcing the winner, who was Brian Kendrick, a little bit of a spoiler, the crowd was chanting for Mendoza.
Yeah.
This guy was absolutely impressive, had no slip-ups.
And these guys had amazing chemistry.
Yeah, you were saying they must have worked together at least a couple times.
It seems like it, because, it was like, you hardly ever have two guys who just step into the ring for the very first time together and pull something like that off.
Yeah, and it was just, whether it was...
Good training, big boots.
Yeah.
Mendoza's corkscrew plancha out of the ring was awesome.
His fake out dive to the other side and then he backflip into the superhero landing, and it was just some great stuff.
Kendrick with his would you dare call it a jawbreaker? When you stick your opponent's open mouth over the middle rope and then just kick the middle rope.
That was the closest thing to an actual curb stomp I've ever seen in wrestling.
Can we call it the chatterbox?
That's a good name.
The chatterbox.
That's a good name for it. Like, I guess we never actually saw them, but apparently Mendoza has braces.
Yeah.
And so he got busted open just prior to this move happening. There was a little bit of blood
on the bottom half of his mouth. Which I can attest, if you have braces in, it does not take much force at all when you get hit in the face to have your braces, which are, metal wire contraptions in your mouth.
You open.
Well, yeah, like I've taken a face plant when I had braces, and the end result is like the inside of my bottom lip looked like ground meat.
Yeah, I've never had braces, so I don't know. So yeah, there was already that blood there. He did wear a mouth guard, which I think kind of pooled more blood up to the front. But yeah, then Brian Kendrick just forces him onto the ropes, makes him bite the ropes, and then kicks him in the back of the head. Or no, he kicked the rope.
Kicked the rope up into his mouth.
Why? This is fucked up. Like, if anyone has taken... That's like, Brian Kendrick, I think, is officially the most heel person I've seen in this tournament.
I would say Daivari.
He wasn't as ruthless.
He wasn't as ruthless, but he was heel.
Cocky.
Because he was one of the only people that refused a handshake.
Yeah. Cocky heel versus... The brutality that someone like Brian Kendrick brought, though, was just wrong.
Yeah, and you see just the insane look he has on his face now.
No, he is literally fighting tooth and nail to get this spot back in WWE.
Yeah, which is awesome. And it's not that far fetched of an idea because we just saw Rhino.
Show back up on SmackDown.
Who, as far as his WWE run is concerned, the last 2 years worth of anything he's done in WWE has all been NXT.
Yeah.
So using something that's WWE under the WWE umbrella, but isn't necessarily Raw or SmackDown, using that to lift yourself up back to one of those spots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the fact that the Cruiserweight division is going to Monday Night Raw, we could see Brian Kendrick showing up on Monday Night Raw pretty soon. We got Shelton Benjamin coming back to SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, but just to keep with the heel...
I really want Brian Kendrick to show up on Monday Night Raw and walk up to Titus O'Neil and go, Zeke, you lost weight.
That'd be hilarious. Brian Kendrick keeping up with the heel actually feigns an injury at the end, just drops, and the referee's checking on him, and Raul's like, what the hell's going on? And as he steps forward, Brian Kendrick grabs the tights, pulls him into the ropes, and that actually helps him set up for a reverse headlock takeover into a prone
choke.
A prone rear naked choke where Raul's just out of reach of the ropes and has to tap out. And just with all the blood that was in his mouth, it just looked like Kendrick had just run him through the fucking mud. It was just...
And it's another... I liked the placement, the in-ring placement of this hold, because you don't get a lot of submission holds that finish just out of reach of the ropes.
Yeah. The fact that he was being wrenched back, it was just the ropes were just not... It was so close of an option, but not for Mendoza. So, a fantastic way to finish it. I want Raul Mendoza to get signed because he is amazing. He's probably one of my biggest standouts of the tournament so far.
Yeah, it seems like there's been almost on once per episode somebody who just really pops.
Anyway, we have one more episode of the first round. That'll be next week. So we have the following... Oh, by the way, with the win over Raul Mendoza, Brian Kendrick will now face Tony Nese.
Yeah.
So, another second round matchup, but we'll be finishing up these first rounds. Next week we got Rich Swann taking on Jason Lee.
What about Noam Dar versus Gurv Sihra?
Hoping Gurv Sihra can show a little bit more pizzazz than his brother Harv. Jack Gallagher versus Fabian Eichner.
And then the last first round match is going to be one of my boys, Johnny Gargano, versus his on-again, off-again NXT tag team partner, Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah. Lots more action to go after that. Loving the Cruiserweight Classic, but that's it for our review this week. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Click all the links. Check out the podcast for all of our regular weekly reviews.
Yeah, get at us on the social medias.
And if you're just checking out the videos, you got extra stuff like this. Go to the beginning of the week, you got our Battleground review, and you get all of our regular videos in between. Thanks for checking us out for episode 111. Check us out next week for episode 112.
Check out some extra other content over at Reasonable Wrestling Fans, our other channel.
Yeah, we got a few videos up there. We're starting to get some more content over on the channel.
It's a little more YouTube-y, less review-tube-y.
I like that.
This is like ReviewTube, but down at Reasonable Wrestling Fans, where you have Thomas Wolf Wren, you have me throwing up drinks. I worded that.
He drinks stuff and then it just comes up.
I worded that terribly.
Don't watch the videos.
I make drink recipes. and reaction videos. We have a reaction video out there, man.
We're doing fantasy warfare where we're actually like arguing which wrestler is better.
Yeah, so we have a much YouTubier side over there.
So check us out over there. Check us out here. Thanks for the comments.
That's reasonable with a W, by the way.
Yes.
In case you actually searched with an R and you didn't find us.
Yeah,
it's with a W. It's WWF.
No, W2F.
W2F.
Yeah.
W squared F.
Yeah. W to the power of 2. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
I like the Cruiserweight Classic. But fuck Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, you can say that.
Fuck his double glasses. Fuck his tall hair.